About 2 years ago, I moved my studio space from the room with the blank wall to this room. And since then, I have been struggling with making a desk setup that fully satisfies me aesthetically. Yeah, it's been pretty functional, but usually that meant it didn't look great at the same time. So this time, I put together a smart, minimal desk setup that I've been enjoying that I hope finally satisfies my own pickiness. And at the same time, I want to share some of the mistakes and considerations I made along the way. Let's start. Okay, there's no such thing as a perfect desk. That sounds kind of negative, but it's more so because people change over time, so our needs change too. So what I needed or wanted 2 years ago is not what I want now and what I need right now. So what do I want in a desk setup now? Well, it's something that fits the vibe of my entire home, something that just blends neatly into it, like all the other rooms in this house. But at the same time, it has to be the perfect YouTube desk, a place that I can edit my YouTube videos and is clean enough to always be that perfect shot for whatever tech product or video topic that I'm doing for that week. Desks are always messy, and that's a desk that I don't want to be messy. So here's all the different things that I came up with. I want to use this back wall, but at the time, the space was a mess with some sound blankets hung up, and the tool chest holding all my camera equipment has become a messy tabletop with a bunch of random crap that I don't need in the moment, and those items would just get tossed to the top of this tabletop. So I cleaned up the space by installing some extra storage in my garage and filling it up with all the random junk that I had laying around that needed to be stored away. I tossed the crap that needed to be tossed, and then I tore down the sound blankets because while they were functional, they don't look great. And now we have a blank wall to work with. So from here, to make the wall more visually interesting, I bought these white oak slat panels from Wood Veneer Hub. And with the help from my mother-in-law, we got the panels cut down to size and screwed to the wall for a nice modern white oak look. In my own opinion, this looks it looks great. The original plan was to use real wood and cover the entire wall with real wood. But real wood would have required a bit more effort to set up and plan than these wood veneer panels. And they would also be a huge pain to take down whenever the time comes. This method was a little bit easier. All we had to do was wait for the panels to come in and just less time consuming to set up. Because the left side of this wall is against the exterior of the home, you might notice that the walls aren't completely even, meaning it might look a little awkward with a little bit of extra space if we decided to use these wood panels across the entire wall. And that would just annoy me to no end. So we decided to just fill out the center of the wall to make it completely unnoticeable by just looking at it. From there, I put in a Govee rope light strip to add to the ambiance and give it a glowing look. With the wall done, we needed a desk that fit perfectly with this wall. And the conclusion was, let's use some real white oak wood this time. So initially, the plan was just to buy a white oak desk. I fell in love with this one by Agarnofis. It was made out of real white oak wood on top and looked just so pretty, but that price tag wasn't. That's budget breaking, even if it's just so pretty. So instead, I went a little frugal and opted to make a standing desk instead. Now you might think that would be an expensive endeavor, and you're absolutely right. If you were to find any brand that makes a standing desk with real and pretty thick wood, it would be expensive, but you can save a bit of cost if you're willing to either just settle and just get something that's not wood but has a similar look and feel, or just do it yourself. Standing desk legs can be bought for pretty cheap, and many of the standing desk brands sell just the frame themselves without the top. So that part is easy. As for the top, I say this genuinely, IKEA makes some great and durable desktop surfaces so you can save a buck there. If you're feeling a little DIY, you can just buy a butcher block countertop from your local home improvement store, then stain and finish it yourself, and now you have a nice looking desktop surface. And if you want the most DIY, most customizable, and most expensive option, you could create one yourself. That's what I ended up doing with the help of my mother-in-law. I took 1 year of wood shop in 7th grade to know that I'm just not cut out for this type of stuff, and I'm glad I have someone to support me on this. Thanks to her help, we got a nice real wood finished white oak desk surface that I can use as the top for the standing desk. Overall, the cost of materials I think was roughly $500 for the white oak wood. Now the thing about putting together a desk setup is making sure cables from all of your electronics are clean and tidy, and making sure that you have enough on-desk storage. For on-desk storage, my favorite has been Grove-made products, and it just so happens that they have a monitor stand and trays that fit the look I'm going for perfectly. So this is the Grove-made large desk shelf in solid oak, their nice large felt mouse pad, and their large desk tray. Okay, when you're sitting at your desk, you will probably be charging a ton of different devices, like your phone, headphones, earbuds, smartwatch, mouse, keyboard, tablet, laptop, you name it. So to accomplish this, I went 2 different routes. the convenient route and high-powered route. Originally, I was using this no-name, generic Amazon 3-in-1 charging station for Apple devices. But more recently, I started switching it out for this MagSafe wireless charging station because it has the same nice adjustable stand that the generic one had, but this one also plugs in through USB Type-C instead of a proprietary barrel jack for broader compatibility, and has Qi 2 charging support, which if your phone supports, charges your phone faster and with less heat than the wireless chargers that you're probably used to. So that's what I currently use to charge my portable devices. And coincidentally, it's made by the same folks that are today's sponsor, Anker, and their Prime charging station. I use this charging station as my do-it-all, high-powered desktop charging solution. Here on this channel, I'm always trying out quite a bit of tech. All of them needs to constantly be charged, and this can lead to a bunch of power bricks and charging cables that are just annoying to deal with. But that's when Anker's Prime charging station comes into play. This charger is capable of outputting a total of 250 watts out of its 4 USB Type-C and 2 USB-A ports, and it blends perfectly into the look of my desk and fits nicely underneath my monitor stand while only using up a single plug on my power strip. But the most interesting part of this charging station is that you can see how much power each port is using and control how much power to provide each port by using the dial on the right side of the charging station. This is perfect for when you're charging multiple high-powered devices like laptops and need one of them to charge faster than the rest, or just to better distribute the power between all of your devices to prioritize specific ones. Of course, with high-powered chargers, you need cables that support it, like the Anker Prime USB Type-C to Type-C cable. This cable is made of recycled materials in a flexible braided design that makes it 8 times more durable than previous Anker cables. But these cables are actually perfect for the Anker Prime charging station, thanks to its support of up to 240 watts of power. These are fantastic cables that I love using because I just know they'll work for all my devices and feel premium at the same time. If you're interested in the Anker 250 watt Prime charging station or Anker's 240 watt USB Type-C to USB Type-C cable, check out the link in the video description below. So that's nice, but here's where I continue to struggle with desk setups. Cable management. There's multiple ways to handle this. You could get a box for cables that just sit on the ground to make your nested cables hidden. But this means all of your cables have to go through this box, and that's not ideal for standing desks where you have cables constantly moving with the desk going up and down. You could get a modesty panel that sits behind your desk, but that can change how the desk looks. Then there's mounting the cables directly to the underside of the desk. And I've made a lot of desk related videos, so if you've watched the other ones, you know I've tried a lot of different ways of handling this. And to be honest, it hasn't completely worked out. I tried using adhesive that's strapped, but this leaves residue on the desk when you try to take them off. And I've tried to use command strips as adhesive for these straps, but it made the straps more unstable and more prone to falling off. So some solutions I'm thinking about trying now to better manage my cables are these Linus Tech Tips cable anchors, since they're magnetic, a cable management tray, or these 3D printed grids with 3D printed cable management raceways. But those are for future projects. Just learn from my mistakes here and don't attempt some of the things that I've tried in the past. So sadly, it's still a work in progress. So now let's talk about everything on the desk, starting with the biggest items. The monitors. How your monitors look and function affect your desk significantly. A desk shelf helps raise up monitors that don't have height adjustment, so that's helping the Apple Studio display that I'm using on this desk. Why this particular monitor? I like the extra sharpness a 5K display provides, especially on a 27-inch monitor. The speakers are good for built-ins, there's an okay webcam, and the biggest part, I like glossy displays. It also helps that the color scheme and looks fit perfectly with everything else I have. Is it expensive for what it is? Yes. So if you don't care about that type of thing and still want a creative focused monitor that won't break the bank, then the Dell UltraSharp U2723QE would be a great option. Just a terrible name. This is a nice color accurate matte 4K monitor with an adjustable stand that looks super minimal and has minimal bezels, has USB Type-C support for power, display, and data so that you can plug this into any laptop and have a fully functioning entire desk setup just like that. For my uses though, I use the Apple Studio display and this Dell UltraSharp together to increase my digital screen real estate. I like having one monitor in this portrait orientation because I view my monitors in 2 different ways. A single monitor that I am mainly focused on with a secondary monitor for things that I occasionally glance at. So I usually keep things like Spotify, Finder, and iMessage open so that I can quickly glance at this secondary monitor for my messages, switch tracks, or grab a file. And then my main tasks then sit on the Studio display. my main display, unobstructed from my other distractions. I think a standard dual monitor configuration works well too, and the Dell can be swiveled back to its standard orientation, but for my own use cases, I find this portrait landscape combo works great for 27-inch monitors and maximizes the space usage well. The Mac Studio is the main machine that I use with these monitors. However, if I do want to use it with my laptop, all I have to do is unplug 2 USB Type-C cables from my Mac Studio and then plug it directly into my laptop. The keyboard I'm using is the Keychron Q1 Pro. It has everything that I would want in a keyboard. A Mac and Windows key layout toggle, Bluetooth, it's fully customizable, and has LED lighting. What more could I want in a keyboard? Okay, to be fair, the battery life is only 3 days, so I need to charge this thing pretty often if I plan to use it wirelessly, but that's about the only complaint that I have. Because this keyboard is customizable, I do have plans in the future to do a lot of customizing, but for now, all I've done is swapped out these keycaps for the Year of the Dragon ones by Osume, so that it better fits the look and vibe of the desk setup. As for my mouse, I use everyone's favorite MX Master 3S. It's been a reliable, quiet mouse for me, and I just love how long the battery lasts and the switching functionality. Both my keyboard and this mouse can be connected to up to 3 different devices. So if I do want to use my laptop with this setup, I just switch the mouse and keyboard over to my laptop's Bluetooth profile and I'm ready to go. All right, beyond just a mouse and keyboard, sometimes we need quick access to do things with our computer, like maybe opening up a set of apps or changing a bunch of settings at once. Doing all of this manually is fine, but the Elgato Stream Deck Plus makes it easy for me to get additional buttons to do unique things super easily. I have all of my media controls here, quick access to specific folders, and control of my smart home devices in this room, all from this little device. It's definitely a nice to have device that just makes life a little more convenient, but you gotta make sure you have the time to set it up or just love tinkering with the thing. I didn't think I'd use it as much as I do, but the BenQ Screen Bar Halo has been a fantastic little light that I love using at night while writing or planning things out. Because of the small field of view that comes out of this light, you can angle it so that it only illuminates your desk and not your monitor screen, preventing glare from messing up the view of your monitors. I'm a bit of a night owl, so I like having the room a bit darker at night, and so having a small light like this makes me feel like I'm not sitting in a dark cave at night, and it makes the desk setup aesthetically pleasing at night too. You can control brightness and color temperature all through this little wireless puck, so I can adjust the settings to my needs perfectly. Lastly, the desk looked a little stale with nothing but tech items, so I added some books and a fake plant to just add some kind of accessories so that it looks like someone actually lives here and uses this desk. After doing this, I kind of wish there was a little bit more space to add a few more random items because I love how much personality it added to this desk. Okay, this is the last item for sure, but make sure you have a good office chair. I used to get these cheap budget, like under $100 faux leather office chairs, and these things did not last. These things would only last me about 6 months to a year. And this would be just sitting in them for 8 hours a day, working a work from home job. These chairs would just start shredding up. All the faux leather would fall apart, leaving this mess all over the ground. And the butt pad, it started going. At the end of it, your butt would be hurting and your floor would be a mess. My recommendation, and I'm serious here, if you can afford it, is to buy a good office chair up front, because these things will last forever. So after I stopped using those, I actually bought a good office chair. The first one was the Herman Miller Aeron chair. That chair lasted me a good 2 years, no freaking issues. And then I decided, you know, I like this chair so much, let's buy the more expensive version of it. Here I am sitting in the Herman Miller Embody chair. It's beautiful. It makes me very comfortable when I do need to work, and I can sit in it all day getting work done. I don't know what more I can say about it. So while you can sit in these chairs all day, I'd recommend you don't sit in these all day and get some exercise too. It served this purpose well, and I think that this is the best looking desk setup that I've done so far. Anyway, what do you personally think of this desk setup? Is it better? Is this worse than what I had before? Did you find some of my tips helpful? Are there any tips that you think I could use for this desk setup? Leave all that down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.